Be right back.
And you think I don't feel guilty for that? You think I don't? I do, okay?
Before we can get to this point, which later leads to this, we have to back up to the day before the deadly discovery. On the 18th of December 2017, officers of the Cleveland Police Department showed up on the doorsteps of 47-year-old Larissa Rodriguez. They were acting on a tip made by Larissa's boyfriend's brother. You see, Larissa is a mother of 10, but our point of focus here is Jordan, her 5-year-old disabled son. The tip was that something had happened to him. Something really, really bad.
7 is on a 2017 Chevy 4-door.
Nothing looks disturbed. The gate is open. Nothing in the rear looks to be disturbed, so we have somebody at the door right now.
Now, in case you're wondering why the officers didn't charge through the front and check the side yard and backyard first, it's because the officers wanted to check the surroundings to assess Rodriguez as a caretaker. Also, there was a gruesome detail in the tip which the officers first considered investigating. But when they found the back gate closed, they decided to go from the front, where they met Rodriguez at the gate.
7222 to check 2.
She's got 5 kids.
7222.
Are your kids here?
I need keys at West 41.
You mind if we step in?
Keys at West 41. For a 3-car accident in the middle lane.
Okay.
There's a semi involved.
You have one of
There's a
4 or 5 year
facing
old.
the wrong way. Close 1.
How old are your children?
Yeah,
Okay.
he just turned 24.
Is it a boy? A girl? What?
A little boy,
A boy. What's the boy's name?
Anthony.
Okay. See if you can get a name.
Is there anything?
Well, we got a call want us to check on the well-being of the 5-year-old, 4 to 5-year-old.
All my kids are good.
Okay. What can we see?
They're laying down.
Okay, I believe you.
Don't want me mad. He's been there October 25th.
What's his last name?
Huh?
What's Christopher's last
Rodriguez.
name? Rodriguez? Mm-hmm. Is that your husband?
No, we're not legally married.
Gotcha. He's in jail in Medina?
Yeah, he's in Medina County. He's been in there since October 25th. October 24th, October 25th, something like that.
Do you have a child with special needs?
Oh, Jordan? Yes, I do.
How old is Jordan?
Jordan, he is just turned 5.
Where's Jordan at?
He's with his dad. He's going to be visiting for the holiday. He's not here with us right now, for the holiday.
Where's Dad at?
In Texas. He's not even here. Is that who you guys are pertaining to?
Maybe, possibly.
What was the call mainly about?
Just checking the welfare.
Oh. I get these all the time because I got ignorant ones who want to sit there call on me.
Do you know, what's his dad's name, Jordan's dad?
Patrick. Pat?
Do you have a number to Patrick? Can we reach that?
We need a list of
Not
all your
right
kids'
now.
names.
Tell me something about Patrick. Do you know anything about Patrick?
He stays in Texas. I mean, we were together for about 2 years.
What's his last name?
Strong. We wasn't together actually too long. He was just like an internet thing.
Do you know his like when he was his birth date or anything?
No, that I did not. You know,
What's Jordan's last name?
Rodriguez. He took it from me.
You got a phone number here, man?
His phone just recently disconnected.
Your phone.
Oh, my phone, 216-456-4301.
Okay. So how many kids, you have these children to live with you. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 live with you.
Yes.
Do you live here by yourself, or do you
Yeah,
live with
technically,
anyone?
I'm here by myself. I mean, Chris
Okay.
Chris comes and goes, you know, back and forth.
Chris is the one that's in jail right now.
Yes, he's been in jail since October 24th or October 25th.
Okay. And that's in Medina County.
Yes,
What was he
Medina
arrested for?
He was arrested for child support.
Oh, child support.
Yes.
Jeez. How many kids did he have?
He has one.
One?
And he's 15. Yeah.
Oh, the other boy is 15? Okay. Okay. Man, I would really love to get in touch with Jordan.
Okay. Is there any way I can give you, when I find the number, to contact you?
Kids you got?
I got 2.
Any of the kids disabled?
He's not really disabled, but that's the one that's with his dad.
None of them?
No.
Oh, what do you mean?
He's just SSI. He can't talk.
How old is he?
He just turned 5.
Okay.
That's the
Where
one.
does he live?
He's
Texas.
staying. He doesn't live there, but he's just visiting for the holiday.
What? In Texas?
Yeah.
And where he usually lives here?
Yeah.
Okay. What? You got a family members in Texas?
That's why I said, is there a number or something where I can contact you guys?
How long has he been in
No, you
Texas?
can get it now. It's not a big deal. We'll wait. Right.
How long has he been in Texas?
He's been only over there for a couple weeks. Because he goes over there to, visit and stuff like that.
Wait a minute. He goes where to?
Huh? No.
He goes.
Yeah.
He goes to-
I want to say sperm donor, but
He goes to Texas to visit.
yeah. He goes there, he went there last year, went there this year. Because he just goes to visit family out there. But I mean, other than that, he's here.
So Jordan has family members in Texas.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Do you know any numbers or how to get in touch with anybody who actually lives in Texas?
I mean, right now, his phone just got disconnected.
What's his address?
I'm waiting for him to call me.
What's his address?
I don't
you
know
just didn't
personally.
send the kid to who knows who, right?
I mean, no. I mean, I don't know the address personally because me and his dad don't really associate like that.
But you let him go with him, right?
Right. He just had his phone disconnected. He's going to be calling me with the phone number. So, and that's the only way I can contact him.
So if we put these facts together properly, 5-year-old Jordan is in Texas visiting his family. His disability is that he can't speak properly because of a developmental language disorder. She doesn't have the contact numbers of the people Jordan's staying with, nor does she know where he's staying. Considering that the tip was about Jordan's welfare, these shaky details are oddly suspicious, but just enough to get a search warrant to search the house in detail. Christopher Rodriguez was in prison at the time, but in one of the calls he made to his brother, who was serving with the military in Pakistan, Chris confessed that Jordan was buried in their backyard. When the search warrant came through and the officers dug in the backyard, they confirmed the confession. After they found the body, they checked for a cause of death so that they could ascertain whether this was murder or manslaughter. Larissa was brought in for interrogation to give some much-needed answers.
Okay. When I tell you some things have changed is we did talk with the coroner.
Okay.
And they finished their initial examination. And there are some problems.
Okay.
The problems being Jordan had an old left wrist fracture. His left wrist was broken at some point and it was healed. It healed on its own. How? That's something you need to tell us. Jordan also has 3 fractured left ribs that healed on their own and a fractured right rib that healed on its own. And these are all injuries that were healing on their own without medical help, which means he was in a lot of pain for a very long time, and you're not being honest about what was happening to this kid.
See, what happened, I mean, I personally didn't, but I was scared myself, okay?
Scared of?
I think talking to my sisters yesterday actually opened up my eyes a little bit and made me realize I should not be the only one taking full blame for this. I never put my hands on my kids. You can ask any of them. And a lot of people used to tell me maybe that's why sometimes your kids don't listen. You know, sometimes I need to be more rough on them, but that's just not in me. To sit here and
I don't want to be that mother either. I just don't want to be that mother either.
Right, I don't. I mean, I was like that when
Right.
I was little. I can't be that type of mom to sit there and expect you, okay, my kid may do something wrong, but I see other discipline, you know, timeouts, you know, corner, you know, bedroom, you know, sometimes my Help Me Grow worker even seen it herself. You know, no matter how bad my little ones can act up, I never had that in me to hit my kids. But I think I was just so scared because I used to get my ass beat by Chris just because I defended my kids. My daughter, my oldest son can tell you, my older son had a pull knife on him because he put his hands on me the way he did.
How long were you and Chris together?
About 2 years.
Okay. And he was living with you from day one?
Yeah.
Our understanding is that you were dating someone else who moved out and you met Chris online?
I was with Jake.
Okay.
But Jake wasn't in the house for more than 2 weeks.
Right.
Since when
And he
I
left
first
and then
moved in.
Chris came in.
Right.
And you met him online?
Yes.
All right.
So, if I could interject.
Yeah, please.
So what I see happening is like, I think March of 2016, you were going through the process of trying to enroll Jordan in a class that's specific for him. But is it Chris that doesn't want him to do this? Or is... Because what I'm reading...
I did try to get him enrolled in school and stuff like that.
Because what I read was Jordan would have benefited from an environment with children like him. He is autistic, most probably.
Yes. And what I did was, it was almost through the year. So when I talked to the development for the school, I said, well, they either said, well, I could send him now or send him next year. I preferred that he would have started the following year, so that way he's got a whole entire full year. And that's what my, intentions was, to send him to school.
Put your kid at the front of the class as opposed to the... I did the same thing with my daughter.
Yes, because I wanted my son to actually be around other kids, to actually learn and to actually,
Sure, you want some coffee? Or water?
I'll take some.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Cream and sugar?
Yes, please. And I was doing what I can, and if you notice, none of my kids or nothing ever went through this until I got with Chris.
I know. That's why, listen, Nina, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm a mother and you're a mother.
And
I know you're grieving.
my sisters made me realize that,
Listen, I know you had a horrible upbringing.
Terrible.
I know. So the most that we can do now is to... I understand where you're at, okay? But I have to press you on certain points. That's my job.
I understand.
And it's as a human being, I know it hurts you. I can see that it hurts you.
Since day one, ever since everything happened, I wanted to reach out. I wanted to tell somebody. The day it happened, the first person I wanted to talk to was my counselor. I wanted to tell her what happened, just because I was just so scared. I needed somebody to confide in.
Okay.
And I don't have that support.
When you say the day that it happened, do you mean
the same exact day?
September 21st?
Yes.
Okay.
I needed somebody to talk to. And in my heart, something told me that he did something to my son.
You have to make the coffee if you want something.
Okay, thank you. In my heart, I just knew something was wrong. I just knew it. Okay, if he can hit on me and he can discipline my other kids, but he wouldn't discipline them like he did Jordan.
How does he discipline Jordan?
It was just different. I mean, as far as, you know how you said the sock in the mouth, none of my kids got the sock in the mouth, only Jordan. And I used to sit there and tell him, don't do that. You know, I used to get yelled at. My kids all can tell you I defended all my kids. And that's where a lot of me and his arguments came in, because I did defend my kids. And that's where he would put his hands on me. He even put a sock in my mouth when I tried to yell for help. I felt like I was stuck. And every time something like that would happen, he would always bring up and make me feel like guilty, like I was the one who did that to Jordan. And I didn't hurt Jordan.
Well, so what, let me just say this. We've seen pictures. Up until Christopher Rodriguez comes in the picture, he's a healthy
And he was
child.
healthy.
He was healthy. However, for whatever reason, he focused on that child. I don't know what that reason was. If it
And
was
he
because-
tried to keep everybody away from me. I
Yeah.
couldn't have friends. I couldn't have family. I couldn't have nobody.
I may have missed this. Did he actually physically abuse him? Did you see him?
A few times that I've seen, yes.
Okay. And what did he do?
He would smack him. He would, I mean, I didn't, me personally, didn't see him fracture anything. I didn't, wasn't around, or if I went to the store, or if I, went out with my kids or
Honey,
something.
you won't see a fracture.
I didn't.
You won't.
That's why it shocked me,
Unless
because
it's a compound fracture.
right,
you
because
won't see it.
my son had a fracture when he jumped off the bicycle. He was on the bike with my older son, so I know, I took him to the hospital for that fracture.
But a rib fracture, you
But
won't see that.
But see, I wish I would, it was just like Jordan trying to tell me something. When I told you that when he finally took his last breath, it was like he was mad. Like I seen in his face like he just wanted to tell me something. But I just didn't know what that something was.
She is painting her boyfriend, Chris Rodriguez, as the prime suspect based on his abusive behavior and her tendency not to retaliate. But before we just sob away in disbelief, we need to know when Jordan got hurt and how he ended up in a grave rather than a hospital for aid.
But in my heart, something told me that he had something to do with this. Because every time after this happened, I just hated him. I hated everything. I just couldn't stand to be around him.
Did you ever ask him to leave?
I did. And he told me that if I was to call the cops, that he had the gas in his name, that they would tell me that he resides there, that he can't leave. So I just felt like I was trapped. And I even told him, this is my house. You have to go. But then he always threw up. Well, if he leaves, he's calling the cops and he's blaming everything on me. Which I didn't hurt Jordan. I take the fault for not taking him to the doctor. Yes, that was my fault. And my other fault was doing
Tissues, Ray. Bring tissues, Ray.
was given the idea to do that. But I didn't hurt Jordan.
I know.
It's not in my heart to hurt Jordan.
I know that. You know Jordan looked just like you. He looked just like you. Same face.
There was not one day ever since that happened I never thought about it.
So Larissa was being coerced into silence because of abusive Chris. We can't help but imagine poor Jordan and how he was able to endure the pain of 4 fractured ribs. But there's another angle here. This discovery was in December, and Chris was arrested for failure to pay child support in October. Considering that this abuse and burial happened in front of him, why didn't Rodriguez come forward about her son being buried in the backyard? She could have made a stronger and more compelling case against her abusive boyfriend if the discovery had come earlier from her and not from Chris's brother.
So you're a year in when he puts his hands on you the first time?
When he finally put his hands on me the first time was when his brother came into town. And I'm the type where, okay, if you make plans, at least make them ahead of time. You knew your brother was coming into town. And if we had plans, you're going to stop our plans just to be with your brother. And I kind of got upset because he said, oh, come on, let's go play some basketball. You complain about our time. Now that we have our time, where, kids are, it's just family, And then when we do have our time, you want to go run off with your brother. And so, I addressed it to him. No attitude, no nothing, and he just got pissed. He just got real furious.
Which brother?
It's his brother Scotty, the one that's in Pakistan or wherever he is. He just got real pissed, started hitting me, and just literally that day he gave me a black eye.
Does Scotty know about this?
No. I mean, every time we got into it, he would always call his brother, but always make me look like I'm the bad one.
So
but
he would
he knows,
his brother about
but he knows his brother. Come on now. Sometimes he would get mad because his brother would defend me. So he knows, like situations that we've been through. Some things that he's always called them every time. Or talk about he's going to pack up his stuff and leave. And, it's just, okay, then leave. I would have been more happy, but maybe all this would have been told and said a long time ago. Maybe that would, but with him not leaving, with him threatening me, with him putting his hands on me, it got so bad my son grabbed a knife on him. And I'm sorry, I know this is domestic violence towards me, but I see it as self-defense. He's got a scar on his back because I did it. Just self-defending myself because he went and literally choked me, put me in the kitchen, slammed me against stuff, had a knife in his hand. I found something, I don't know whether it was a screwdriver or something. I just grabbed something and just got him right in the
police out to the house? Somebody called?
No, nobody. Right. Nobody. And that's what gets me is that street is so highly protected by police that why didn't somebody? I mean, I even tried to jump out the window, try to get some help from somebody. I feel like I couldn't even leave my house. And then when I sat there screamed, he put a sock in my mouth. So I couldn't. And then was sitting there screaming, like I'm screaming, and he's sitting there choking me.
Let me ask you this. Is he, what you described to me about Jordan losing weight in his arms while developing a pot belly, that's malnutrition.
See, you can, even when you talk to my daughter, that's why I thought something was wrong going on with his kidney.
Okay, but
because he was losing the weight, he was doing, but...
I'm not saying you did this. My question is that some sort of discipline that he does to this child?
No.
Does he withhold food from him?
No. That's why none of us ever thought it would have been anything like that. Me, I thought it was his kidney because when he eat, everybody eat. All my kids eat first. I served every single last kid of mine first. And my daughter and my son, anybody can tell you. When I cook big meals. Mm-hmm. And Jordan, he was one to always eat. Mm-hmm. Always. We get pizza, he eats like 5-6 pieces of pizza. And it surprises me because he was like, where do you put it, Jordan? He always ate. That's why it surprised me when he started kind of losing his appetite. And I used to have to sit with him and say, Jordan, you got to at least eat something. At least take a couple bites.
Well,
because I never had that problem with him.
When does he begin losing his appetite?
I don't know the specific date.
Roughly.
2 months.
Summertime, springtime, wintertime?
I could say it was about maybe summer, early summer. He started losing appetite. I got him to at least drink something. I don't, some behaviors where I saw where I'm called for. Sometimes Jordan will wake up. Remember how I told you, with his rocking?
That's a signature I don't mean to.
No, he's always did that ever since
Right.
when he was a
That's
baby.
sort of a signature of children who have spent time in an incubator or children who are autistic. They will rock and self-soothe themselves.
See, that's the first time I heard that. Because
I even asked
the doctor too, and I was like, why does he do that? You know, I guess
self-soother.
Because I wasn't there to, you know, rock him and cuddle him, and you know, until he was 4 months. That was what he used to do. And then used to get up in the middle of the nighttime. I used to, like, he would sleepwalk. So I would, you know, sometimes have to keep an extra eye on him. Because I caught him one time going to the bathroom, getting toilet water and drinking toilet water. And I'm looking like, why is he, you know, like, is he even alert when he's doing this? You know, it'd be like certain behavior, you know, like, and I used to have to stop him. He'd go straight to the refrigerator. I don't even know if he's like awake when he's doing this or if he's sleeping or, you know, it's just things that I had to watch out with him. And he would just like get into anything and everything. And I noticed that when he did it, even after Jordan was gone, my other son was doing it. My other little son, my 4-year-old. And I'm looking like, is it because he watched Jordan do it? Or why is he doing the same thing that Jordan was doing?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, is it a behavioral thing? I mean, it's just something that okay, I recognize that. Jordan used to do that. You know, like, and it was just, and Jordan was perfectly fine. It was just something I felt like in that house too. Like it was not really wanting us there. You know, like a sense of something. And I guess I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I found out after I moved there. Because when I went to see the house, it had a caution thingy wrapped around it. Kind of like on the front bush. And I looked like maybe it was just for a Halloween decoration or something. But the neighbors and somebody had told me that actually a father had killed his son. Or something happened there. So it kind of like, you know, like, wait a minute, you know, this house is just like bad luck. You know, and I mean, Jordan's behaviors didn't start till we moved there. In that house. I never seen Jordan behavior act any different. You know, his behavior just changed. You know, it's just like I had to observe him a lot more there. You know, things that he was doing, I've never seen him do.
When anyone raises a disabled child, they seek medical help, research symptoms, and try to understand on a deeper level the disability and how to deal with it. None of the signs that Jordan exhibited compelled Larissa to rush to the doctor or have someone on speed dial who could help her understand what Jordan was going through. Now, while this is the case for Jordan, we can't overlook the other kids as well. According to the social workers, her house was in, and I'm quoting, deplorable and unsanitary conditions. It was infested with rats and cockroaches, and one child was even eating this when they arrived at the house. It actually shows a lot about how much of a caretaker she was. This raises a big question about just how much she took care of her kids.
The important thing here is that you tell the truth, all the truth, even the truth as they see it. You ask for forgiveness and you move forward. Christopher, and I promise you, I know you wanted to punch me in the nose yesterday, and I accept that.
I was being sarcastic. I'm so sorry.
You weren't being sarcastic, you were angry. And it's my job.
So this is actually the second interrogation, and while we don't have the first one, we do know that it got intense when the detective accused her of murdering her son.
You think I don't feel guilty for that?
I think
You think I don't? I do, okay? And you're making it worse.
But in both the interrogations, the confession so far has been about the abuse, but not the murder/manslaughter.
But I'm not a fighter.
It's my job to make you
I think I kind of got off that way because I'm so used to, like, being, like, when the guys come at me like that, it just, I don't know, it's just like...
Do you understand that it's your eternal need to be with a guy that is attracting guys like that?
And that's what I need to change.
Well,
and
this is a unique opportunity to do that. To
I have
heal
to do for
that
myself.
part of you.
Right.
So kids who are touched when they're kids wind up either hyper promiscuous or they wind up not at all promiscuous. This is your unique opportunity to change the end of your life.
Because I could have been dead.
Of course you
I
could
could
have.
have been dead.
And
it used to get him mad because sometimes, even after the situation with Jordan, it used to get me mad because he put his hands on me and choked me. And I had knots in my head, and I said, I just wish I was with Jordan. And he said, what did you say? I said, I wish I was with Jordan. I wish I could take Jordan's place for him. And he was just like, because he didn't like the fact that I used to bring him Jordan. Oh, you don't need nobody hearing, what happened and this and this and that. He would get pissed off.
What do you think he did to Jordan?
I think that morning, technically, something had to happen. I don't know what it could have been. Something had to happen because Jordan wouldn't just collapse like that. I don't know if maybe he might have pushed him, shoved him, punched him, could have even punched him.
Does he punch
him? Who knows? No, I've never seen him. But if you're talking about any type of fractures, who's to say?
There's a big difference between punching a child in the face where you're going to see the mark or punching a child.
I'm going to interview the other one now.
Okay. Punching a child in the rib cage and no one sees that. So what I'm saying to you is, this guy's a street dude. He knows how to hit.
Right.
He knows how to hit somebody in soft places with a hard object and not leave a mark. So what did he put a kidney shot on that boy? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who's to say?
What did he was pissed off at that kid for whatever reason, puts a kidney shot on the good kidney, and it's lights out.
Shut down.
Yeah. So now we could be very likely leaning toward a situation where Jordan was beaten to death based upon all these pre-mortem injuries that are in different stages of healing.
And something told me, I don't know what it was, it's just a feeling that he had something to do with this. Because I not once, ever, and as you've seen for yourself, pictures and everything, I've always posted, my kids were always healthy, I've always took care of my kids. I never hit my kids. Everybody used to tell me, even the officer at the house, as you can, he's like, maybe you need a spanking. And that's not in me to do that. When I was little, I got hit with extension cords. I got hit with boards. I had to kneel on rice on a carpet. And I told myself, those are things I never want my kids to go through. Nothing.
Hey, I don't want to be that mom either.
That's horrible.
I don't want to be that mom. I don't want to compel my child through fear.
And I remember he always used to tell me, well, you need to discipline your kids and this and this and that. And it's just like, I'm doing my best to discipline my kids.
What is his definition of discipline?
His, I guess, is more like spanking and I don't know what he considers discipline.
Did you see him put the sock in Jordan's mouth and put him in a corner?
One time I did, yes. And I didn't like it. I didn't.
Did he make Jordan sit in the closet?
Not that I know of. But it can't say when I step out or, something like that. But as far as the closet goes, I know my kids play in the closet. That's all I know. My kids love to sit there and hang on the little bar thingy. And one time I caught my little ones just sitting on the shelf up there. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Typical kids.
Playhouse.
But as far as that, I don't know. But my Jordan didn't deserve any of this. None.
Well, and what I suggested to you yesterday is that the only way you heal yourself from all of this is to take responsibility for your side of the street. Meaning, if I drank, if I doped, if I didn't keep house, if I didn't put sheets on your bed, if I didn't feed you, if I was overwhelmed, if I didn't do my part to take care of you, then I own that. And
No, just like I take the responsibility. I didn't take him to the doctor. That was my fault.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't call the ambulance when he needed it. That was my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I also had part in putting him there because I just had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and I'm feeling depressed. I diagnosed with PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And probably postpartum.
And, you know, I didn't know what to do. You know, I just got scared. And I just was like, you know, and I wasn't ready to let Jordan go because I've been through so much with Jordan. You know, by myself, even before I got with Chris, I was taking him to the doctor. It was a lot, but I was working on getting there because my social worker, my counselor has a preemie, so she was working with me on some things that I could do with Jordan.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't know who Patrick Strawn is. My understanding from you is that this was a one-time liaison with him or a couple of time liaison with him?
Yeah, and then I got pregnant and here comes Jordan, and I didn't want nothing to do with him. He didn't want nothing to do with me.
Okay.
So I told him, I sent him back, and I told him, you need to go to Texas, back home where, you know, where you are.
So, but my question to you is, not to cut you off, and I know you need to talk about this stuff to get it out. The law says that he has a right to Jordan because he's the father. What that he never comes forward or we don't find him?
He's not going to come forward. He's not.
Then whom would you want to have Jordan? Michelle?
My sister, and I talked to her last night.
Michelle or Anna?
Michelle.
Okay.
Because she's more responsible. Michelle's more responsible. She's the oldest.
So, in the absence of Patrick Strawn, you would want her to have Jordan's remains?
Yes.
And to follow through with what she wanted to do, which was a cremation?
Yes.
And to divide the remains between his siblings?
I think that would be best. I talked to her yesterday, and I told her I was going to let you know that, you know, because we all agree he's never been there. He never wanted no part of Jordan. And even on Facebook, I could even show you from old messages. You know, I sent him pictures of when he was in the NICU.
Mm-hmm.
I told him when he was born. I didn't have to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are things that even I try to connect with his sister. I didn't get nothing from
Well,
neither
what
one
if
of
they
them.
come back and they do want him? Then what?
I doubt it. I mean,
But if they do, then there's nothing we can do. I hope not, for your sake, and
I
for
don't.
your.
Me personally, I don't think they will. They've never stepped up before, so I'm thinking. We just got to think. I'm just gonna have my sister do everything until further notice. If he does come through, if he doesn't, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Do you have any questions for me at this juncture?
No. But would I still be able to see him or no?
So,
To at least say my last, finals to him. I mean, if I can't, I'll just, say him in prayer or whatever to myself. But I think I just kind of need that, closure.
I don't suspect that they're done with their examination at this point. And I think that probably
They're not going to.
they're probably not going to allow you that. And I don't think that you want to see photos of him. You actually physically want to see your child.
That's very true.
Is there any other questions you have for me at this juncture?
So they're gonna go ahead and charge me today?
Yes. I'm going to charge you today at some point, and you'll probably go to court in the morning. And then in the morning, we're going to talk to the other half of the equation in Medina County.
Good luck with that.
Well, I really don't care if he speaks or not. And I want you to know that I helped to arrange the visit with your sisters.
Thank you. That helped a lot.
You can't go through this alone. And what I would say to you is I've had members of my own family do big chunks of time for some really fucked up shit.
And they told me, Larissa, you've never had a record. You shouldn't even be here.
Well, this
And
is...
now I feel bad because my little sister, she's taking it hard.
Well,
And I know that she feels it's her fault. And it's not her fault.
I assured her that the other half of the equation will be held responsible for his part in it. Because it's undeniable that when he comes into the picture, that this child's life changed irrevocably. So,
Because I was in plenty other relationships before him and nothing happened.
As the case was further investigated and the trial was set in June, the only thing that got sorted was the story of Jordan passing away. In June of 2018, Chris and Larissa pleaded guilty to charges of involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, child endangering, and gross abuse of a corpse in Jordan's death. They did so as part of a plea deal which allowed the couple to avoid trial for murder, which carries a potential life sentence. Instead, Larissa was sentenced to 25 years, while Christopher was sentenced to 28 years.